Hello guys, today I want to put a video forward on the video games I'm looking forward to the most. So, same with TV shows, I think I mentioned this on past videos, same with books, and yeah, anything. We really want to be, in my opinion, spending our time with quality pieces of entertainment put out there by creators. And so, living my life, I've sort of grown more, less inclined to play games just for entertainment. I'm really going after those games which offer something different and perk my interest and raise my eyebrows enough to want to buy them, which usually involves like an interesting storyline or just fantastic gameplay. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown on the 6 games I'm looking forward to the most. So number 1 is The Last of Us. I think this comes out next month, and I think it's done by Naughty Dog, which of course has done the Uncharted series. This game is getting like very high reviews, so that's not that I trust the reviewers all the time, but if a game is getting 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 across the board, that is, you have to pay attention to whether you like it or not. And given this whole setup where it's just like surviving against like I think zombies or like plant-eating zombies, I'm purposely trying to keep myself away from the details, but I can already tell, given the nature of the Uncharted series, this game is probably going to be pretty damn good, irrespective of, the 10s out of 10s that I may be getting, from reviewers' perspective. So, I can just see, the way they set up this guy and this girl and their relationship as they travel, disease-infected America, literally trying to survive. I know that this game is going to be interesting, and it's probably going to be a damn good game. So, number 1 game I'm looking forward to is The Last of Us. Number 2, Splinter Cell Blacklist. Again, I haven't been really sort of paying attention to what this game is sort of going to have, but you know what? There has been something about these games where you sneak around, Metal Gear Solid style, and you're doing stuff behind the scenes instead of going there, guns are blazing, which is, your Halo type of games and stuff like that. So there is something very cool about doing something without being detected. Like if you're like a thief, like a burglar or whatever, and this whole terrorism and like communications and spies and Russia and America, all this, that, and the other, have shown me enough interest to play the whole sort of Splinter Cell series. And the last one was interesting. Splinter Cell, it felt very Batman-esque, sort of like going from like ledge to ledge and jumping around and hanging out of rooftops and stuff like that. And the last Splinter Cell game was really great. I really enjoyed the sort of the settings that it purposely puts you in, like New Year's Eve in Paris or whatever, and you see the fireworks just as you're videotaping like a sort of conversation. It feels very much like James Bond in a way. So whether I like it or not, I'm going to check out Splinter Cell Blacklist, which has a release date for Australasia of 22nd of the 8th, 2013. Grand Theft Auto 5 is the next one on my hit list, coming out 17th of September for us down under. Not much needs to be said about this really. All these storylines which are going to be interconnecting somehow, just the trailers are great, they're funny. The writers are really putting into detail into this game as they always do. The whole sort of option to do whatever you want, set in like a realistic, like a extreme parody environment. Doing whatever you want whilst following the main missions, doing illegal things which you could never do in real life. Really eccentric characters, and the music I'm sure is going to be great as well. Pretty much if you have a video game console, you're gonna buy Grand Theft Auto 5, so that goes without saying. Number 4, Beyond Two Souls, coming out 8th of October. So this is done by Quantic Dream, the same developers which of course released Heavy Rain and Fahrenheit or Prophecy, I think Nomad, which was their first title. So what can I say? I've mentioned like a billion times, you must be sick to death of me saying it. I go for pieces of fandom which house elements of story, characters, and emotion. And the more that these are cranked up to 10, the more you're going to enjoy the experience. So given that a company is really focused on one key element, which I really think is like the petrol behind sort of games and experiences we enjoy, and that's emotion. If they're making a game with it, like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, this company has a in their office sort of painted on this sort of like as a motif, like as a central focus point. The company slogan or motto or whatever. It's emotion. Like they literally have like emotion written on a wall. So I'm like, okay, these guys get it. Like if your emotions are engaged, you are going to enjoy it. And I'm not saying like enjoy as in like you're going to find every sort of experience happy and fun and adrenaline pumping, but if your emotions are engaged, you're going to find something intriguing at the very least. So given the stories exploring life after death and a girl with supernatural powers, I've always been interested in, the X-Files and the paranormal stuff like that. Coupled with, very emotional driven storytelling. Heavy Rain drained the shit out of me emotionally. Like, it's one game where I just played it once. I really couldn't play it twice because I felt like it would cheapen its experience that it had for me. Like, I really didn't want to take away from the experience that, I played it once, I had my experience and I was out. Like, that was that. So check out Heavy Rain if you have not. And of course, pick up Beyond Two Souls. Number 5, Batman Arkham Origins. So, what can I say? I've read a couple of Batman comics, but these games are really, really great. I mean, seriously, like, how close can you get to being Batman? This is really great. I mean, there are a few pleasures in video games, and going from a rooftop, targeting an enemy, diving like a bat, kicking the crap out of him, and just very easily performing all these combat moves, which look very, very fucking cool on screen. So, this one is like a prequel, so that's very interesting. Like, they understand that this sort of, it's always interesting to explore the lead up to events. So I'm sure the storyline is going to be great. I mean, every single Batman game that these guys have done, Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, is amazing. Like, really, like, it's just he looks great, he fights great, the storyline is great. The fact that his costume deteriorates over time as the game progresses is an excellent, like, small touches like that. You really do feel like a detective using all these upgrades and weaponry, and especially the Batman vision and intercepting thugs' transmissions sort of as you scale the rooftops. You really do feel like Batman. So of course these guys are releasing another video. Of course I'm gonna another video game. Of course I'm gonna buy it. Number 6 on the list, which is to be announced, is The Last Guardian, and this game is done by, I can't remember, it's done by Team Ico, I think. So they released Ico, of course, and really one of my favorite games of all time, The Shadow of the Colossus, and I think The Last Guardian is going to somehow tie these games together. So there was a small connection between Ico and The Shadow of the Colossus, and like I said, like, thank you Sony for re-releasing these games HD on PlayStation 3. Otherwise I would never play them. As soon as they released it, I bought it straight away. Like, I heard so much about The Shadow of the Colossus. Regardless, The Last Guardian, I think, without getting into it too much, sees the relationship between like a young boy and his dragon. It very much reminds me of the Never-Ending Story, sort of like a creature like that, sort of white, very dangerous, but at the same time one which, when you develop a connection with, is very sort of sympathetic and sort of becomes your best friend. So I'm sure it's going to be emotional. I'm sure people are going to. I think the creature's going to die. I mean, seriously, how else can you sort of have an impact after you develop a relationship with a character throughout a game? Nevertheless, I'm keen to see their works because especially Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, of course. These aren't games; these are more experiences, and they're pushing to works of art. I know some of you may be like, "What the hell? Video games can't be art." Well, they actually can, and if you played Ico on Shadow of the Colossus, you understand exactly what I mean. So those are 6 games I'm looking forward to the most. All other games I'm not really interested in. I'm getting a phone call, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Peace, guys. Forristicat out.